What's up guys, White Fox 1225 here with another video, and today I want to talk more about the Horns of the Reach DLC for the Elder Scrolls Online and the new update 15 that's going to launch with that DLC. The DLC itself is going to include two brand new dungeons, those being Bloodroot Forge and Falkreach Hold. The update that comes with it is going to be free for everyone, and it's going to include a new Battlegrounds map and a new Battlegrounds game mode along with some other smaller improvements. Today I'm just going to talk more in detail about those things, tell you all you need to know about the DLC and everything that's coming with it and the new update. If you look at the screen, you can see some early gameplay of the new dungeon Falkreach Hold from ESO Live. Let's move on and talk about that dungeon first. So both of these new dungeons can be reached in Craglorn. For Falkreach Hold, you're going to get on a cart and it's going to take you there. One of the coolest things about this dungeon, and one thing that really surprised me, is it actually takes place in most of the Reach, and it is an outdoor dungeon. To make the dungeon, ZeniMax actually used the same height map that they used for Skyrim, so hopefully it's going to look somewhat similar even though ESO takes place a long time before Skyrim. The story of the dungeon itself is that Falkreach is under siege by Reachmen, and you have to go in and break the siege and save them before it's too late. I think that's really awesome just because it's so unique, it's different from anything we've seen in the other dungeons. You know, usually you're in a cave or something like that, but now you're outside stopping a siege. I think that's going to be pretty fun to play through. Another cool thing about this dungeon is there's going to be some really nice rewards. First off, there's a new skin that adds some cool tattoos. It makes your character a little paler than he was before, but you'll get that for doing some of the dungeon achievements. On top of that, there's a new armor set that looks really sick, and that's going to drop in this dungeon. And if that wasn't enough for you, there's also a new player house that you'll get when you complete the dungeon on the normal difficulty. It looks really awesome. It's absolutely massive. You can see some video of it on the screen. There's a really cool cave system underneath the house, and like I said, it's a gigantic house with an amazing view of the town below. To be completely honest, I think it's my favorite house in the game so far. I'm definitely going to be trying to pick it up. I believe even if you don't buy the DLC, it should be available in the Crown stores to purchase separately, so keep your eye out for that. I am so excited for this dungeon just because, like I said, it's so different from the things we've seen in the past, and there are some really crazy rewards for finishing it. Moving on, let's talk about Bloodroot Forge, which is the other dungeon that will come with this DLC. This one takes place in a long forgotten forge that was created by Hircine, the Daedric Prince of the Hunt. In terms of rewards for this dungeon, there's a really cool hat. It looks like a minotaur skull, and I think you're going to see a lot of people wearing it because it looks really badass. We don't really know too much else about the dungeon, but knowing Hircine, I'd probably guess there's going to be some werewolves involved, but that's pretty much all we know. What we do know is they said that these dungeons are going to have some new enemies. Hopefully that means new mechanics too, not just reskin versions of the enemies we already have. Both of the dungeons, of course, will be available in the normal and veteran mode, but there is a veteran hard version too for the final boss. There will be speed runs if you're into that, and they've said the dungeons will be fairly difficult but maybe not quite as hard as the Shadows of the Hist, so if you had trouble with those, maybe these will be a little bit easier for you. Right now, let's move on and talk about the new update 15. Like I said in the beginning of this video, this is going to have a lot of new Battlegrounds content, but before I go into it, let me just say that you need to own the Morrowind expansion to play this new map and the new game mode. If you don't own those, you can't play any of the Battlegrounds content. So this new map is called Arcane University, and it's set in a college in the Imperial City. It's really cool, and one awesome thing about this map is it's going to have teleporters that can help you get around, and I'm really excited to see how that plays out in terms of the gameplay. Chaos Ball is the new game mode for Battlegrounds, and in it you'll have to capture a ball and hold it for as long as you can, and when your team is holding it you'll earn points. So it's basically kill the carrier, and I think it's going to create some huge fights because everyone's going for the same objective. When you do have the ball, you're going to have a healing debuff and an armor debuff, and your team will also slowly be dealt damage, so it's going to be pretty hard to hold on to this thing. Next up, I just want to quickly list off some of the quality of life improvements that they're making with this update. They're not huge of course, but I love when ZeniMax does this because they improve the game by a little bit each time. So some of these improvements include the ability to cancel a research project halfway. You can look at your guild invite history now. It's also going to add some new homes and furnishings to collect. The two big things I think they're adding though is the update to the currency system that allows you to deposit alliance points and writ vouchers into your bank. And now you'll also be able to create customizable combat cues for abilities and attack telegraphs. So if you're bored with the colors you have, or maybe you're colorblind and you can't see a certain color, you can change those in the settings now. And of course, last but not least, we'll have the expected usual patches and balances as always. The update and Horns of the Reach DLC are going to be released sometime in August. But if you can't wait for that, or you just want to help test out the new content, you can play it on the PTS on Mac and PC this week. You guys can definitely expect some videos of me playing it on the PTS and telling you guys what I think, along with some tours of the new houses. I'll also have some new guides for Morrowind, and a video on Mount & Blade Bannerlord coming soon, so stay tuned for that content and hit the subscribe button if you want to see those videos. If you guys enjoyed the video, please click that like button. Thank you so much for watching, it means the world to me, and I will see you in the next one.